Alright, what's up everyone? Today we're doing a guide on Scorpion. It's a complete in-depth guide on his combos, his strings, and basically how to play the character. If you have any questions at any point, just leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer. And my name is AVirk. I was known as the best Scorpion on MK11 and I've been playing Scorpion on MK1 ever since the game came out. I have multiple hours on the character and I think I understand him pretty well. So before we get into the guide, be sure to subscribe to DashFight for more character guides and check out their website for all things FGC. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, in this section we're just going to be doing a general overview of his buttons and basically what he's trying to do, what his strengths are and his weaknesses, and kind of where he's trying to play on the screen. So Scorpion is no longer like an anti-zoning character. His teleport in this game is not very good, at least the grounded one is not very good. You can cancel it and get away with this every once in a while, but even that, if you're playing against a good player, they'll just react to it and do a poke. And then let's go over his pokes next actually, because in this game down ones are actually punishable if you do a down one back like immediately. So as you can see, it's -8. It's still a good poke if you want to check people with it, but generally I like to use down 3 more. It's more minus, but you can do it from this range and it can be harder to counter poke it as well. You can kind of get away with even doing like max distance down 3 and then backdash. His down 4 is terrible. I would not recommend using this button. Like it's slower. It also like does not go far at all. Like look at the range for it. The down 4 is going that far. The down 3 is already hitting from there. So I would not recommend using the down 4. Almost like never. I don't think I really use that at all. Then his best strings are 1, 2, 2, and 2, 1, 4. 2, 1, 4 is by far like not even close his best string. And that's because of how far 2 goes. It's really good for whiff punishing. You can also get away with staggering it. You could do 2 backdash, try to get them to whiff like this, backdash 2, 1. It's also special cancelable. I'll go over the combos in the next section, but yeah, so it also ends in 2, 1, 4. That's the whole string. It's -6, so you're completely safe after that. Keep in mind there is a gap there, so they could armor after this part. So 2, 1, and if they armor, you can get punished there if you do the whole string. His standing one is really good because it's his fastest button, and it's really good for punishes, and it's also +2. So that's what I use this button for. Is usually I'll like stagger and back up and try to whip punish. So I'll go like this and like that, or I'll do, and then when they're conditioned, I'll do like standing 1, throw. The next button I want to go over is 4-3. It's his only mid, which is really unfortunate. I think that's where this character really suffers. He's basically all high strings, and that's actually a huge weakness he has, especially since the second part of the string is actually a high. So if they do this, you can duck the second part, get a full punish, like very easy. It's actually really unfortunate that that's the thing. I hope they change that, but got to deal with what we have for now. And then his back 3 is also really good. Probably his next best button after standing 2. The range is good, and it is punishable, but if you do it at the right range, you're pretty safe. You can also use a cameo to keep yourself safe with it. The Scorpion cameo is what I'm using right now, but you can't really use that to keep it safe. I'll show the sector one and how to use it, but that's kind of what you want to do. You never want to use this button from this close, like never ever, because you're going to get punished 100% of the time. Usually you want to use it from around here. Like right there is the ideal range to use it. And then he also has his teleport is good only in the air, because you can kind of do that. So you go like this, then you can follow up. You can even do like this, and then grab. So that's a good way to anti-zone. It's really the only way to anti-zone, to be completely honest, because this is too slow. It's punishable, you don't get a follow-up. And yeah, his other special moves are just the basic ones. I think everyone already knows this, but I'll just go over it. He has a spear, which is his main route for combos. You go like that, and then you can follow up. He has back forward 4, which is actually pretty good. It's only good if you do it from far enough. Again, for Scorpion, you kind of want to be around like this range to use this button, or you want to be here where you can do that. You can do this. If you amp it, it's completely unblockable. It does 6% and there's dot damage, so it's pretty good. It is kind of situational, but you know, this character is not really an in-your-face type character, and he's also not anti-zone. He kind of just wants to whiff punish you and play around here. But in the next section, I'll go more into his routes and kind of like a better explanation of what he's trying to do and how to use these buttons. Okay, now let's go over how to start Scorpion's offense. So you can't really open people with lows or overheads because he doesn't have any lower overhead combo starters. So what you want to do is use 2-1 and use back 3 from here and just try to whiff punish people. So you have to use a lot of staggers, a lot of throws, and that's kind of the only way to open people up. So you can use this as it's +2. You do this and then throw. You can do this, and then once they start counter poking, so I'll set it to reversal down 1. So now he'll do reversal poke. So now if you try to throw, it's not going to work. But that's when you start doing stuff like this. So you get to punish every single time from that. You can't do it from completely right next to them, because then you once you backdash, it won't punish. But if you do it from like here, then you get a punish for that. So you just visually see that they whiff the poke, and then you go into your spear. Another thing you could do is once they start kind of adapting to that, you do stuff like this, or you do this, then you get a punish. And then from here, depending on what character they're playing, you can start throwing out spears and getting damage that way. You can also go like this. Sometimes they'll counter poke and you reversal grab. And then his 4-3 mind games are, since it's a high, people are either gonna duck the second hit or they're gonna counter poke. So if I do this, he's gonna just poke. So that's when you start doing stuff like this. Grab, this, and then follow up. You can also do this, get a punish, and then you can jail them or do a throw. It's your turn from there. So that's kind of what you're trying to do. You just want to whiff punish them, play around here. You can also start staggering moves that can be hard to react to, like this, and then dash up throw. This is also really good to do as well, because the second hit is kind of delayed. So the stagger is actually really good for it. So you could do like turn reversal mode off. So it's like this, and then grab. That's really hard to react to because they're looking out for the overhead. So that's kind of it for how you want to open people up and start his offense. It can be kind of difficult to open people up, but because he has good range, it's still possible. You don't have to mix people up, you just have to play good neutral. And then in the next section, we'll go over what cameos to use, what you can do with them, and also the B&Bs. Okay, so for the next part of the guide, we're going to go over his B&Bs. I'm just going to have my microphone muted for this part, and then we'll just add the notations over the combos. Alright, that's all the combos that I usually do, and you can kind of add any twist to it you want. Like, for example, you could do stuff like, I don't know, like do this a bunch of times if you really wanted to. But just use the route that I'm using, learn how to do the combos and kind of add to it however you want. Just keep in mind that after you hit a spear, if you want to switch sides, do 3-3 back 4-2, and if you want to keep the same side, you just do 3-3 this, then switch sides, you do this. You could also do back forward 4 after for good pulse frames. That's also good as well. That's kind of all the combos. I guess one more you could do if you're not using the Scorpion Cameo is this instead. Now drop down, and then do spear. You do something like that. And then for 2 bars you could also do this. That's if you're not using a cameo. And then 1 bar, you can do that, or this. There's just like a bunch of routes you could take. Like, it would take so long to just do all of them, but that's kind of the main ones. You guys can just copy these combos and then go from there. And then depending on the cameo, you might even have more routes, but that's it for the VNVs. Okay, next let's do the cameos. This is going to be one of the last parts of the guide. So pick, when you're deciding on your cameo, I'm using either Scorpion or Sector. Sector for kind of zoning and safety, Scorpion for damage. Sector also does good damage, but the main reason you use Sector is to just kind of keep yourself safe from doing teleports or spears. So when you're deciding on your cameo, I think stuff you need to take into consideration is if you can combo off that, like if you can get extra damage, or if you can do this or this safely. Like for example, you can do stuff like this, but now it's Scorpion, but for Sector you can do that and keep yourself safe. And then also, since this second hit is a high, picking a cameo that has like a move like this to kind of stop them from ducking it can also be good. Scorpion isn't that good for that, but Sector's is, because you can go into this, which is completely safe. Kung Lao has a good low hat, which is plus. Sub-Zero has a shoulder that's also, I think that's plus, I'm not sure, but it keeps them safe. It keeps them, you know, they don't really know what's gonna come next. You can start staggering it, then do throws. And then what I was saying before about Sector was usually if you throw spears in here and they block it, so reversal mode on, I'll put it to spear. So now if I do spear, I get punished, but I can start doing stuff like, and then I'm good. So completely safe. Same thing with this. If I do this, he blocks in, that you go spear. Or not even just spear. If they like you dash up 2-1 or something, you could do this, and they get hit if they try to punish you. And then he also gets extra damage. So usually you do 2-1 to spear, but now you can do 2-1 into this. And as soon as you press 2, call your assistant. So you go 2, call assist, and then it'll look like this. And then you can do it twice, and then you can follow up into whatever you want. Like something like that. If you want to do max damage, it's the same combo as before. And then 1-2 teleport, 1-2 teleport. And then go to that and spear. And then you just do this twice. And then you can even go with the fatal blow if you want, which is like insane damage. I don't even know how much it does. I think it's like 56 or something. But that's kind of the reason I use Sector. Scorpion is for the overhead, the combo extenders. And then just when you're picking your cameo, just make sure it's a safe cameo that kind of complements his like spear and his back 3, and also gets good damage, covers this. Yeah, that's basically it. I would recommend either using Scorpion, even Sector, Cyrax, Sub, Frost, Jax, or Lao. I would use any of those ones. But just try to see, maybe you'll find one that works better, but that's kind of what I'm using right now. Alright, that's going to do it for the guide. I hope it was helpful. And also let me know if you guys need help with any of the B&B combos, because they can be a little bit tricky at first. Just remember that after you go into spear, and you do 4-3-2, you jump and press 1-2, and then you follow with whatever you want. You can also do this twice. Depending on the gravity, you might not be able to get 1-2 consistently. In the corner, I know it doesn't work. And just kind of put your own twist to the combos. You know, be creative. Maybe use my the combos I'm doing as a guide, and then go from there, and then kind of make your own combos. But if you want to just copy the combos I'm doing, that's fine as well. And just let me know if you need help with them. But yeah, overall Scorpion I think is He's a pretty good character. I would say he's like mid tier. He's not amazing, but he's also not bad either. I think he really suffers from not having any mids or any lows, so you can kind of get mashed on constantly like this. It can be kind of hard to deal with playstyles like these, because really all you can do is this, and you can kind of low profile that. That's kind of an unfortunate part about the character. His only mid ends with a high, which is punishable. It doesn't make him necessarily a bad character, but I don't think he's top tier because of these things. But yeah, overall, not the worst character. He's also not the best. He's just kind of he's pretty good. I would say he's just mid tier. Alright, thank you so much for watching the guide, and I really hope it was helpful. If you guys have any questions at all, please put them in the comments, and I'll try to reply to every single comment whenever I get a chance. You can also check out all the things shown in this video and the text version via the link in the description. And if you like this video, please leave a like or comment below with your thoughts. Thanks again for watching, and take care everyone.